Your city, your news. From the studios of UNO Television, this is the Omaha News, presented by the University of Nebraska at Omaha School of Communication.
December graduation is on its way for plenty of local college students, many of whom are looking far and wide to start their careers. But the jobs these recent grads are looking for may be just right under their noses.
And what do charging, traveling, and double dribbling have to do with one local man? We'll tell you coming up on the Omaha News. Hi, I'm Leanne Mormon.
And I'm Carlene Sturdivant. Students often find it difficult to juggle homework, part-time jobs, and maybe even a social life if there's enough time. Now, with the added pressure of finding a job after graduation, some college seniors are getting a little overwhelmed. Graduating seniors looking for employment may be wondering what employers are looking for. The University of Nebraska Career and Outreach Office offers students an opportunity to find out exactly what employers are looking for.
To prepare for both December and even May graduation are on-campus interviews. And that's when an employer will come in and they'll interview students here on site in our offices. We've had a lot of accounting employers that have been here this semester.
One of the events held by the Career Outreach Office gave students a chance to put skills learned into action. Students were able to meet with employers from different companies and talk with them about employment opportunities. Rochelle Avis, a UNO graduate, says job fairs are helpful to students.
It was more of a generalist position, and I was there for 9 months, and I realized what I liked and what I didn't like. So it was because I didn't know any. I mean, you learn stuff in the books, but you don't learn anything until you actually do it.
The UNO Career Exploration and Outreach Office will also work with students to update their resumes and has job listings on their website. For more information, go to unoceo.unomaha.edu.
Campus Crusade tends to cast a large shadow over religious groups with fewer members, and as Jean Kwok reports, the reason behind the success is because numbers aren't their bottom line.
You see them everywhere. Campus Crusade is one of the most prominent campus-based religious groups at UNO. Falling under the umbrella of Campus Crusade for Christ International, along with Greek Endeavor and Impact, their numbers often teeter around the 250 mark.
Well, we have a real advantage that we've been around for about 8 years, well, I think 6 or 7 years now. One of the other advantages we have is there is a continuum of staff that works for Campus Crusade outside of our campus that helps our campus leaders. They're not directly involved with what we do as students on campus, but they help out in terms of giving us support, giving us ideas, talking through the ideas, and just helping us run things.
Smaller groups such as The Rock, that meets every other Wednesday at the Milo Bell Student Center, are looking for building connections over drawing in sheer numbers.
I mean, I think our group is very personal, and we like to get to know you, and we love to, just accept you and bring you in. And I think one of the things that we don't want to happen, sometimes like with big groups, people get forgotten about, and like love might not reach some of the people, and we definitely don't want that to happen.
Students looking for religious guidance on campus should know options do exist. Whether large or small scale, it's ultimately what works for the individual. For the Omaha News, I'm Jean Kwok.
Campus Crusade invites anyone who's interested to come by one of its meetings. They meet Thursday nights at 8:30 in Engineering Room 109. You can also check out their website at crusadeomaha.com. Although the above average temperatures we've been enjoying might have you hoping for less than a white Christmas, odds are that the first snowstorm of the year isn't too far away.
We have a few tips for maintaining your car once the freezing temperatures hit. First, check your tires. Too much wear and tear will leave them with little traction, and you won't be able to stop in icy conditions.
Make sure your battery is properly connected and there is no corrosion. This can save you from having to jumpstart your car in below zero weather.
And finally, make sure to pack an emergency kit with warm clothes, flares, and a flashlight with extra batteries. It's best to be over-prepared when it comes to cold weather and icy streets. Retail owners have already been hard at work preparing for the winter, especially the holiday season. And as Sarita Gawali shows us, a couple of stores in Omaha Mall, Crossroads Mall, are simply waiting for the seasonal rush.
These stores and their employees are waiting for customers to come to their stores. This is the condition of retail business all over the country. The sales of retail business in the United States has declined by around 20% compared to previous years. Business owners are saying that customers are not spending money as they used to because of lack of discretionary income.
They just don't have the money to spend with the cost of energy going up, the cost of gasoline, what it's been, the proposed increases of natural gas, which is going up 50% with this coming December, December, January, February. That has a lot to do with it.
They want a cheaper price than what they were paying last year. Even though the price of gold has gone up, they're still not ready to pay higher prices. So over and above is the retailers who's going to be affected.
All the retail business are waiting for Christmas to break the slow trend.
I suspect we'll have a very good Christmas.
Every year, Christmas has always done it for us.
Most economists credit the decline in retail sales to the record-setting hurricane season. Hundreds of local economies were forced to close down for an extended period of time, leaving the national economy in an overall decline. Coming up later in the program, reporter Courtney Hawkins talks with a UNO professor who will be featured in People magazine.
But first, find out why you shouldn't judge dogs by their bark, but by their bite. That's next on the Omaha News.
journalist. I want to work in the recording industry. I want to be in advertising when I grow up.
I want to be a video engineer.
I want to be a news anchor.
I want to be a great communicator.
UNO Television, based on the University of Nebraska at Omaha campus, provides production and educational services both locally and nationally. UNO Television has been offering students hands-on broadcast opportunities for over 40 years. Every UNO Television production features students working side by side with broadcast professionals in a variety of settings. UNO Television is proud of its role in helping students develop their skills toward broadcasting careers.
Hi, I'm Carol Schrader. For years, I've brought you the news on issues from around the Omaha area. Now I examine those issues in more detail to discover the impact they have on all of us. So join me for the 9th season of Consider This, a program produced by UNO Television to give you more information than your typical newscast.
Watch Consider This with Carol Schrader each week on TKN, the Knowledge Network of Greater Omaha.
Earlier this year, Council Bluffs passed an ordinance banning pit bulls due to their reputation for being aggressive. But Derek Leadley takes a look at whether pit bulls and large dogs as a whole deserve such a bad rap.
Dog owners in Omaha have the freedom to own any breed of dog that they want.
At the present time in the city of Omaha, there is not an ordinance against a certain breed of dog. So pit bulls are legal, Rottweilers are legal. Other big dogs are totally legal to have in the city limits of Omaha.
Despite their looks, many larger breeds of dogs are more bark than bite.
It's scary when you come over, but as soon as you go to pet the dog, she'll follow you around the rest of the day.
Dog temperament is not determined by species. However, the way that a dog is brought up has a lot to do with their personality.
The breed of the dog and the size of the dog doesn't necessarily dictate whether or not that dog is going to be a bite dog.
Being a responsible owner is the best way to prevent dogs from being aggressive.
I think it's all in how they're brought up.
Laws, bans, and bad reputations shouldn't keep people from owning large dogs.
And I know a lot of owners who have pit bulls, who have Rottweilers, and they're great dogs.
For the Omaha News, I'm Derek Leadley.
For information on pet ordinances within the city of Omaha, log on to the Humane Society's website at anyhumanesociety.org.
Basketball season is almost here for the UNO men's and women's teams, both returning from impressive 2004 seasons.
The men are heading back to the court off a 23-6 record last season, winning their second straight NCC title. And the MAV women finished last season with a 14-14 record, which was good for 6th place in the conference.
The women's team kicks off its scheduled next Tuesday night at Sapfield House, but the men won't return to their home court until November 22nd. While a successful season tends to leave fans happy with their players and coaches, the referees never seem to get away from at least a little bit of heckling. Greg Kellogg has a story on how one Omaha man willingly puts himself in front of this kind of criticism.
If anyone can relate to the saying, "You can't please all of the people all of the time," it's Jeff Wallace. As a basketball referee, Wallace knows this firsthand.
Jeff is very good at explaining, to the players and calming down the coaches. And he'll go over and he'll talk to the coaches if they have a question, and he will explain and calm down the players. And if he can't calm them down, that's when he will tee them up.
Wallace is entering his 26th season as an official, but this year brings a new challenge.
Wallace will now be able to update his resume to include not only high school and college basketball, but also the Professional American Basketball Association, or ABA, whose goal is to showcase a more fan-friendly style of play.
They want the game to be the biggest thing. The teams, the players are not bigger than the game. And that's why they want to return basketball to a team game with finesse rather than an individual game with strength and power.
Wallace will enforce several rules different from those in the NCAA and NBA. Differences include the 3D rule, awarding an extra point for a basket made after a turnover in the backcourt, and the 6th foul player rule, which means a player cannot foul out of a game in regulation, but if he remains in the game and commits another foul, the opposing team shoots one free throw and retains possession of the ball. For fans, the most exciting rule may be one pertaining to the team roster.
Each team can add a celebrity player to their roster, and that celebrity player can be an old NBA player, can be somebody from the community who is well known, any type of celebrity that they want to bring onto the court, and that person suits up just like the rest of the team, and that person plays.
For the Omaha News, I'm Greg Kellogg.
Wallace and the area's ABA team, the Lincoln Thunder, kick off their season at the Pershing Auditorium on November 18th. Tickets are $8 for students and $12 for adults. Later in the Omaha News, we'll tell you about 2 UNO sports teams who can now say they truly are number one.
But first, reporter Courtney Hawkins sits down with UNO professor Meredith Bacon to discuss why this has been such a memorable semester for her. You're watching the Omaha News.
If your days get out of control, reset your attitude by setting your radio to KVNO, Classical 90.7. Discover your own personal oasis of serenity on KVNO, Classical 90.7.
Our look may have changed over the years, but our mission has remained the same, providing our students with a way to achieve their dreams. Through their education at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, students have the opportunity to connect, collaborate, and create. more information, visit the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
You're watching a channel of the Knowledge Network of Greater Omaha. To help make the most of your viewing, you can also visit us on the internet at www.tknomaha.org. You'll find detailed program schedules of Knowledge Network programming, including on-air classes, documentaries, and how-to programs. At www.tknomaha.org, you'll also find more information about our original featured programs. We believe TV should be entertaining and educational. So point, click, and learn more about the Knowledge Network. See where to find the Knowledge Network on your cable system. Learn more about who the supporting members are and why the Knowledge Network of Greater Omaha is committed to educational programs for all learners. Online and on the air, the Knowledge Network stands for Smart TV. Remember, you can visit the Knowledge Network homepage at www.tknomaha.org. The Knowledge Network. It's TV for your brain.
Dr. Bacon has been a popular political science professor for the last 29 years. People magazine will be featuring the UNO professor in an upcoming issue, but the topic doesn't have anything to do with the university. Dr. Bacon is going through a transformation from the man everyone knew as Wally Bacon to the woman we're getting to know, Meredith Bacon. Thanks for speaking with us today, Dr. Bacon.
Pleasure.
So can you tell us how old you were when you realized that you weren't really comfortable with your gender?
When I was about 4.
And how long did it take for you to come out, and why did you finally decide to come out?
I think coming out is usually a gradual process, but in terms of being able to make a comfortable decision to transition, it took 55 years, give or take. More in the last 8 years, it's been going a bit more rapidly than it did in the first 47, but it's been a very gradual process over the year.
And who did you come out to first?
I came out to my spouse first, 33 years ago in Paris, after spending, 8 months in communist Romania, and we really needed a break. And so we went to Paris, and the tension was reducing, and somehow it just sort of came out at that time.
How did she react to it?
Remarkably. She acknowledged what I had said, but obviously did not understand. And we basically decided that she needed some time to think things over, maybe get some more information, and look at various alternatives, one of which, of course, was ending the marriage. But that was 33 years ago, and we're still married.
So your relationship is doing really well today then?
Yes, it is.
Great. Now, how long had you been a professor at UNO before you came out?
29 years. I came here in 1976, and the decision to transition was made during the spring of 2004. I told some of my colleagues in the political science department at that time, and then in the fall of 2004, I wrote a very long letter, it's an epistle, to my colleagues explaining to them what was going on, and in typical academic style, it had footnotes and a bibliography. But at the same time, I announced my plans to the chancellor, the vice chancellor, and my dean.
How did they react to it?
Uniformly very well. I mean, some of my colleagues probably were a bit shocked. The administration could not have been better, I told the chancellor, and the first thing she did was embrace me, give me a big hug. So I think the knowledge that I'm a fairly good teacher, I've been a very productive scholar over the years, that I've held a lot of responsibility in shared governance. I've been faculty senate president twice and been on every university committee there is, and some that have not even been imagined yet. That helped give them a sense that I was an asset to the university, regardless of whether I was Wally or Meredith.
Did you have any criticisms from parents or students?
Of course. the first day of classes, I had somebody walk out of one of my classes saying something about a freak. And I had a parent call me during the summer once the World Herald story had come out and said that basically her daughter had been my student and she had great respect for me and the university, but now, since I was transitioning, I had lost all respect, and so had the university for keeping me employed.
That's too bad. Now, what is your advice to other transgenders who are scared to come out but desperately want to?
Get help. The first thing is, if this is becoming a conflict that is disrupting life, you need to see a therapist. You need to talk to someone who's competent to give you alternatives. There are also support groups in virtually every large city in the country. Here in Omaha, it's the River City Gender Alliance. And being with others and exchanging information and being in an empathetic group really helps to reduce some of the conflict that is usually caused by somebody knowing they're transgendered.
Why do you think you in particular have gotten so much attention from the media when there's numerous other transgenders that have came out?
I think Mike Kelly's article, it was thorough, it was absolutely brilliantly written. It hit all the informational bases that I think people needed to know. And from that article and the follow-up article and the Gateway story and the follow-up Gateway story, the Chronicle of Higher Education got a hold of it. We had a reporter from the Chronicle out here. She shadowed me for a few days, went back and wrote a pretty good story for the Chronicle, which is sort of like the Wall Street Journal for colleges and universities. And people picked it up from the Chronicle of Higher Education. I'm being cited in a Newsweek story that's coming out, and that was picked up from the Chronicle. And now Good Morning America picked it up initially from the Chronicle article, but more recently from talking with some of the editors at People.
Are you overwhelmed with all this attention you're getting? Did you expect it?
No, I did not seek it, and I'm sort of flabbergasted. Both my spouse and I are amazed and don't know why we're getting this kind of attention, other than we're out about who we are, and we want to talk about it. We think we're both teachers, and we think this is a teaching moment. And you put Good Morning America and People together, that's 50 million. And that's by far the largest lecture session I've ever had. I don't know how I'm going to correct the exams, though. But this is a teaching opportunity that not very many other trans people have.
I hate to interrupt you, and you've shared so much great information with us. Thank you so much, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Maverick sports fans should get plenty of cheering in the next couple of weekends as the soccer and football teams compete in the playoffs here in Omaha. The soccer team has secured its spot in the postseason after winning the NCC championship last weekend. They'll host the rematch again, number 4 North Dakota, this Friday at 4.
UNO Television, based on the University of Nebraska at Omaha campus, provides production and educational services both locally and nationally. UNO Television has been offering students hands-on broadcast opportunities for over 40 years. Every UNO Television production features students working side by side with broadcast professionals in a variety of settings. UNO Television is proud of its role in helping students develop their skills toward broadcasting careers.
years old, and I used to see these kids puffing weed. Well, take a hit. Took my first hit, and I was like this. The teacher would be like,
if you smoke marijuana, you will be more likely to do other drugs.
Whatever. I say marijuana's a gateway drug, yo. It opened up the floodgates. I was bored. I took a hit. Nothing mattered after a while. I was heartbroken. I took a hit. I was frustrated. I took a hit. I started smoking crack, shooting dope. I had guns in my mouth, got stabbed. That first hit, yo, started it all off. I feel fortunate, yo, that I'm alive. That's a real deal.
Maverick sports fans should get plenty of cheering in over the next couple of weekends as the soccer and football teams compete in the playoffs here in Omaha. The soccer team secured its spot in the postseason after winning the NCC championship last weekend. They'll host a rematch against number 4 North Dakota this Friday at 4.
And the football team earned a share of the NCC regular season championship and a bye in the first round of playoffs after beating Minnesota Mankato this past weekend. They'll host either Northwood or Saginaw Valley State on November 19th. Kickoff is at 12:05 at Caniglia Field. Maverick Volleyball may very well be joining the soccer team and football teams in NCC championships. The women are currently tied for first in their first conference with Minnesota Duluth. Coincidentally, that's exactly who they'll play this Friday in the game, the second game to last for the regular season.
Commercial Federal has treated the city of Omaha with countless fireworks displays, concerts, and other events over the years. But now they've given their final hurrah and are ready to head out of town.
And we've heard people talk about the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina and how it's affected so many lives. But the saying is true, a picture is worth 1,000 words. We'll have those stories for you next week on the Omaha News. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.